Hey, Coach Pittman, you got something to say?
Yeah, I do.
Go Hogs! Yes,
sir! Broadcasting live from the Bud Light Studio.
I love Arkansas! I love everything here! Give me that thing here! Woo!
On your favorite Arkansas sports talk station.
Why did that happen in Fayetteville, Arkansas?
Dixon Street. It'll get you.
Streaming live from
Hit that line.
.com.
You want answers! I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
This is Halftime with Phil Elson and Ty Richardson.
Phil, you're one of the best baseball announcers in the country, and Ty, you're one of the best up-and-coming young talents in the broadcasting industry. You really do your homework.
It is my pleasure to offer you the opportunity to be the head football coach at the University of Arkansas.
That's awesome. Thank you so much. Woo Pig Suey.
Hey, hold on. It's almost halftime.
Oh, I've been waiting for this week for a long time now. I guess you could say I've been waiting for this week for 3 weeks now, because we're finally past the holidays. We finally took care of the new year, and this is a regular old-fashioned week of work. I know the kids aren't in school today, but the teachers are, so that does count as a school day-ish. We're working. We got all our shows lined up and ready to go for you on ESPN Arkansas, so this finally feels like, I don't know, routine. The routine has been crazy for the last 2.5 weeks. Try to keep everybody happy, family, friends, pets, everybody you walk into, trying to be happy and trying to enjoy the holidays and keep your cheery attitude about it all. Now we can just go back to being miserable and working stiffs for 5 days a week, which means we can get into basketball season full time. Although a couple of big news items involving football came out between the time you were finished listening to the Morning Rush at 8:56 in the a.m. and right now as you start listening to your favorite midday program, Halftime. So those decisions have been made. Tua Tagovailoa announcing about an hour ago that he is foregoing his senior season at Alabama and is declaring for the NFL draft. A risk for sure with the injury he dealt with, but he's still going to be a first-round pick nonetheless, and still could be the first overall pick anyway. And then the other decision, which I guess is a little bit surprising just because of how quickly this went down, Mike McCarthy, the former Packers head coach, and a Yinzer from Greenfield, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, right next to my neighborhood where I grew up, is the next head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. So are there any other questions to answer now, Ty, involving football? I know we've got the championship game in a week, so we'll get into that later on all throughout the week with our guests and our callers. But I don't know if we've got any other outstanding things to worry about right now, with the exception of Arkansas basketball trying to pick up a couple of road wins this week.
Yeah, the two biggest football news that you just mentioned, one pertaining to the SEC with Arkansas football and how that's going to impact Arkansas football next year. Maybe not as the degree because Arkansas football is so behind competing with Alabama that the fact that Tua is not going to be on the team next year might not have that much of an impact. But with so many Dallas Cowboys fans listening to this program, finding out who your new head coach is, Mike McCarthy, former Green Bay Packers head coach. I think he was 125-77 as the Packers head coach, has a Super Bowl to his name, so you got that for you. But I know that what was it? It was either OddsShark or one of the Vegas sites came out with the odds, and Lincoln Riley was even money to become the next Cowboys head coach. But it looks like that Jerry Jones is going with a guy that's had success in the NFL as a head coach, and go with Mike McCarthy, Phil.
Giants, Browns, and Panthers still waiting to make their choice on head coach. I heard somebody yesterday talking about the thought that Matt Rule might be the front runner to be the Giants head coach. Boy, that would leave Baylor in a pretty difficult situation. I guess it would be pretty interesting to see how many college coaches are going on to the NFL. But you have a coach who was out of work for less than a year, now taking over in the most high-profile job in the entire NFL. So very interesting to see that. 877-377-6963 is our line for calls or texts on Halftime up until 2 o'clock today. And the conversation is going to be mostly about basketball. Why not, with Arkansas picking up another victory to open up SEC play, 69-59 over Texas A&M. I guess we can start with the line because I felt pretty good about myself, Ty. I had predicted a 13-point line. Saturday morning, I opened up the live odds app, and it said 13.5. Should I be worried that Arkansas didn't cover? Because I thought good teams win, great teams cover. That's right. I don't know if I worry about that very much. Good performance by Arkansas. And I imagine they had to feel at least a little bit of pressure coming off the victory against Indiana and a sold-out crowd against Texas A&M. You just don't want to disappoint the 19,000 that showed up, and I don't think they did disappoint them. Good victory.
Yeah, they get a 10-point win. I think with Arkansas, it was one of those things where you're playing one of the lesser teams in the SEC, not only the SEC, but the worst three-point shooting team in college basketball. And you were expecting at some point that Arkansas was going to pull away more than they did. Still, you get a 10-point lead. We're going to talk about that five-guard lineup that Eric Musselman implemented really with about 12 minutes to go in the game that helped them stretch that lead. But an interesting game, an entertaining game, and Isaiah Joe and Mason Jones as well as some other guys. They had 4 guys in double figures that game, Phil, so you're getting some scoring from a couple different areas. Big first win. Again, it wasn't enough to please the AP voters, but first win in the Eric Musselman era in conference play for Arkansas basketball.
I guess they did. They must have impressed the computer that does the net ranking because Arkansas is in the top 25 in the poll that matters, which is the net ranking. They're what is it, number 23? If you were to go by the old RPI, which men's basketball no longer goes by for the NCAA selection committee, they would be 11th. Is that right? Did I see that right? 11th in the RPI?
11th, yeah. 11th in the real-time RPI. Mm-hmm.
Things will get a little more tough this next week with road games at LSU and at Ole Miss. And Ole Miss coming off of a bad loss on the road against Wichita State. They've kind of struggled a bit of late. LSU picked up a victory at Tennessee. That's a tough place to do it. But we will take your calls and texts, and we'll start with Robbie in San Diego. Robbie, I know you're supposed to be Robbie in San Diego, but you're never in the same city whenever we speak to you. I think you were in Denver last week. Where are you today?
I'm in San Diego.
Okay, good. All right, very good. So we've started with that.
I was traveling. I actually flew in last night. I was traveling. I was taking my kids back to Florida. So I'm back home, taking a mental day. I'm kidding.
A mental day. So you decided to get mental by calling this show.
Yeah, exactly. No, I go back to work tomorrow. My break will be over. Hey, man, so, great win against A&M. It was a must-win game. I mean, A&M's probably one of the worst teams in the conference. They're a quadrant 3 opponent. So for those folks out there, they really need to educate yourself about the net ranking. You really you pay the price for losing to bad teams at home, and you get bonus points. You know, the ranking will boost up if you win on the road against quality opponents, which we have this week. This is where our season really starts. Going to LSU, we're going to be underdogs. If you look at the ESPN matchup predictor, I think it's less than 30% chance they give Arkansas a chance to win the game. That's a good opportunity to go in there against a quadrant 1 opponent on the road and win. Same thing as Ole Miss. They just lost on the road to a quality, opponent in Wichita State who's ranked. Now we go into Ole Miss, go to Oxford. That's another road game against a cute quadrant 1 opponent.
Mm-hmm.
They break it up in the quadrants because there's 300 and some odd opponents. So if you're in a top 88, it's quadrant 1.
And as I understand the quadrants, so I mean, Ole Miss is in the 50s, I think, for the net ranking. Actually, they're 68. 1. They're quadrant 1 when you play on the road, which is what Arkansas is doing. Essentially, that quadrant expands to 75 teams, not 50.
Yeah. So they're essentially what you're looking at is this is the chance right now for Arkansas to go on the road, get some quality wins, and who cares about what the top 25 is? Keep boosting that net ranking. That net ranking will take care of itself. I estimate, based on our schedule, 13-5 is about what we should win. If we win the games we're supposed to win, and we're competitive in some games and we lose some, 13-5 is about what we should go in conference based on the records right now. That's barring injury or something happening or things like that. You may lose some, you may win some. If you can get to 11, 12 conference wins, based on the strength of the SEC, we're going to be okay. I love the fact that Coach Musselman is willing to be innovative, go with the guys that are working for him, not necessarily needing that big man based on what our chemistry is going with the 5-guard lineup. It's refreshing because it's going in there and really putting a lot of pressure on teams by having a very athletic team that can slash and get a lot of things done.
Robbie, you mean you're refreshed by the fact that a coach is not strictly sticking to his system and not harshing on that over and over in the press conference?
Yeah,
how
I
they
know.
need to implement that?
barking nonsense on the floor, and that people don't understand, and then being standoffish with everyone.
Hey, Phil,
someone who actually can be engaging.
Yeah. Hey, Phil, how much do you think of
the?
the Musselman offense that they implemented so far?
Is there a system? I mean, have they gotten? It looks to me like they've gotten like 75% of it implemented. I don't know. To me, it's a guy that's just taking advantage of the strengths he's got in his team and not focusing on what he doesn't have. That to me is what Saturday's win might have been all about. How many teams in a Power Six, which I think is what we have in college basketball, would be able to win a game when push comes to shove in the final 10 minutes, where your tallest player is 6'4"? That's pretty impressive.
Not many.
Pretty impressive. And Eric Musselman's Razorbacks got it done. I doubt that'll be the case with a 5-guard lineup against LSU. They got a little more size, but we'll see. We'll see. Adriel Bailey on the bench for the biggest minutes of that ball game. I assume you may need Adriel on the floor against LSU. We'll come back with more. Good to be with you on this Monday on Halftime. Stay tuned.
This is the Morning Rush.
It's amazing the defense that Arkansas basketball is playing right now. I mean, I just don't see in any way they ever get blown out by any team in this conference. They're no longer going to go on the road and get blown out by 20, 25 points like you've seen previously. This defense and what Eric Musselman has been able to coach these guys to do is what's going to carry them into having a lot of success once SEC play really gets rolling.
Don't miss the Morning Rush. Weekdays from 6 till 9. Only on ESPN 95.3.
Mile markers remind us of where we've been, show us where we need to go, and inspire the next generation to keep pushing boundaries.
And speaking of mile markers, guess who will be the first non-player, non-coach to be inducted as an honorary member into the College Football Hall of Fame? The Goodyear Blimp.
Some of the most iconic footage has been captured from the Goodyear Blimp. It's watched dynasties rise and fall and become a symbol of the college game.
So when driving past mile markers of your own, remember Goodyear takes you further. Discover more at Goodyear.com. Goodyear, more driven.
Head to toe, it's gotta be Gelco for hard work and the great outdoors.
With quality and price and comfort you like, and savings that you're looking for.
We've got the shoes and boots, steel toes too, outerwear and a whole lot more.
Head to toe, it's gotta be Gelco
for hard work and the great outdoors.
Tri-Hill Turf offers the highest quality turf and pest services. Hey, you say those are big words. Well, let's see. Tri-Hill Turf and Pest has a company agronomist, state and nationally certified technicians, free soil testing, and they even have precision GPS guided application equipment. Now that's high tech. For over 30 years, Tri-Hill Turf and Pest has used the latest application technology, and they strive for turf and pest excellence. They are your local turf and pest experts. Call the local team at 782-0404. Tri-Hill Turf and Pest.
What's wrong, dear?
I'm tire shopping, and nobody knows anything about tires.
Jody'sAuto.com sells tires.
Where we get our vehicles fixed?
And oil changes. And maintenance.
What kind of tires do they sell?
Everything, all major brands. But it's the people.
Well, they've always been great with my truck.
And that's exactly how they are with tires. They know their stuff and can get you great tires at the best prices. Price match guarantee. You can see all the tires on their website, Jody'sAuto.com. Free flat repair and free road hazard.
And how do you know all this?
Because women understand two things a whole lot better than men: convenience and trust. Jody'sAuto.com can do everything to my car. One stop, including tires, and I trust them.
That's it, convenience and trust. Best of the best trust. Jody'sAuto.com, 3 locations, 3 oil change specials, one stop for tires, service, repairs, maintenance, towing, and fleets. Since 1984, convenience and trust. Jody'sAuto.com.
It's a new year, a time for fresh starts and positive changes. Let us help your vehicle reflect your good vibes by making it look its best. If you find yourself a victim of the winter weather, we will work with your insurance company and help you throughout the process. We offer a lifetime warranty and a complete interior detail with all repairs. We can quickly restore cloudy headlights, making them look like new and brightening your road for better vision on these dark winter nights. Think of us at Evans Body Shop when you need any auto body repairs.
Evans Body Shop, where we meet the nicest people by accident.
Tired of all the broken promises and broken equipment at your current gym? The Fort Smith Athletic Club is the nicest and most well-equipped fitness and tennis club in the area, with a state-of-the-art fitness center, Pilates, fitness classes, personal and group training, and the best tennis facilities in the region. 7 outdoor courts, 5 indoor courts, plus pickleball and racquetball courts, and free child care is included. The Fort Smith Athletic Club. Call 452-4031 for membership information.
This is ESPN 95.3. You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Ty Richardson.
Joe with 5 to shoot. Isaiah, NBA 3 on the way, and it's good. Joe's got 17. The lead is 10.
That was the final of 5 threes hit by Isaiah Joe. Finishes with 17 points. And tied with Mason Jones for the team lead in points with those 17. 69-59, Arkansas gets the victory. Looking at the nation's leaders, Joe ranking 14th in the nation and 2nd in the SEC with 50 made three-point goals. And 3rd in the SEC, 98th in the country, hitting 35% of his three-pointers. By the way, I have come up with what I think would be an outstanding three-point shooting contest, Ty. Because
like between me and you, or
no, you and me wouldn't be very good because I have a feeling you would win.
That's the only thing
you
I
would
can
win
do.
easily. I still have yet to beat you in any contest that we've tried yet. But if you think that the combination of Mason Jones and Isaiah Joe is lethal, and it is, what about the combination of Alexis Tolfree and Amber Ramirez? They are actually more lethal. Amber and Lex combining to hit just over 46% of their three-point shots. Mace and Zay, 35%. So as good as the guys are, you got players in Amber and Alexis who might actually be a little bit hotter when it comes to hitting the three-pointers. Amber hit 7 of them yesterday, 4 in the first quarter in Arkansas's victory against Auburn. A thrilling way to come back after a tough loss against Texas A&M. I don't know who would win that one, to be honest. You'd let the girls would use the girls' ball, the boys use the boys' ball, and, of course, the men's three-point line is a little bit further back. I say let Lex and Amber shoot from the men's three-point line because I don't really think it makes that much of a difference for either of them. I'd pay money to see that.
So they combine just like around the world 5 each at each spot, like at the traditional.
Get a money ball at the end?
Yeah, each get 25. Yeah, I'd watch that. I'd also like to compete against you in that as well. Give us another competition under our belt.
Let's just start with a layup contest, okay?
You would actually probably beat me at that. The further I get away from the rim, the better I am. That's like notorious for people that ever played pickup basketball with me. My high school friends, my college friends, people up here at Fort Smith, they can attest that the further I get away from the rim, the more lethal I am. The closer I get on like floaters and layups, the worse I am. It's the weirdest thing, but I don't know. It's just how I'm wired on the basketball court.
Maybe we'll do that contest you see at halftime sometimes. You do the layup, the free throw, and the three-pointer, and whoever gets them all done before the other is the winner.
See, they stopped doing that. They're doing that stupid
sitting in the Barca Lounger.
Which, by the way, and I saw this thread, I believe, on Hogville. There's and I get, I get there's sponsors, and I get there's money to be made there, and you're trying to please a number of different people and that, but you just suck the energy out of the building when you do so many corporate sponsorships in between breaks. Like, the A&M crowd was ready to explode and go off. And I know that the Aggies made some good shots at critical moments to keep the Arkansas crowd at bay at times. But one of the other things that Arkansas hurt itself in is you just suck the life out of the arena with all these different sponsorships, Phil. Like, you're killing the genuine, the authentic crowd noise and authenticity with trying to plug in a corporate spot. It's just like, it just hurts the like, when I hear about it, unfortunately I'm not old enough to experience this firsthand, but when I hear about the Bud Walton days and I'm watching on TV, it was explosive. No one wanted to play there, and no one wants to play here now, but it's not the same because of these dull moments where you just completely evaporate any momentum that you have at that point by, hey, let's do a Whataburger fry toss. Blah, blah. It's aggravating. Nothing against Whataburger. I love Whataburger, but it's the name of the game at this point.
You know, I do remember just before football season, Arkansas Athletics made a pretty big deal out of letting everybody know, look, we're not doing as many sponsored deals on the field.
Doesn't feel that way in basketball.
And I never saw anything about that for basketball. It might be the same old story, but, you know, those corporate sponsorships are not going to change unless somebody is willing to pony up money to just have fans be loud for nothing else. No contest, no winners or anything. Just, let's get Walmart on the horn and have them just sponsor loudness.
Yeah, just the fan meter. I literally every single break just have these different companies sponsor the loud meter. Make it as simple as possible. And don't do the stupid hog emojis. Don't do the stupid contest. You can do at half. You can do the thing you talked about, the layup, the 3-point contest in the half court to win $5,000 or whatever it was. John's friend Brendan won that years back. It was fantastic.
I remember seeing the video of him do that. Yeah.
So you can do that. That's fine because that gets people excited. But just these stupid contests that no one cares about, that it's frustrating. So just do the loud meter. I'm with you. Have a different sponsor every single break sponsor the loud meter. It's simple. It's not elegant, but it's what the fans want. And it charges the same amount that you're doing.
I've got a sponsorship for a foregone company that's not around anymore. They're now known as AT&T. Bell Telephone should have sponsored Eddie in Clarksville for ringing the bell. Eddie is on the phone. Eddie, Happy New Year. How you doing?
Happy New Year to you, gentlemen. As I could not be happier for this fan base. As what the saying now is, get aboard the Muss Bus, because the basketball program is back at the U of A. Let me tell you something. Is there a coach in the country that done more in a short time in any sport in college than Coach Muss? I mean, and now the whistle is blowing in our basketball program again. Look at the duo of Isaiah Joe and Jones. And when I grew up, it was Sidney Moncrief, Marvin Dell, and Brewer. I mean, now, there's been great players that come through our basketball program. Look at this fan base. Hats off to you. Is there a better basketball fan base in the country than the U of A? I beg your pardon. Because this fan base is hungry. I mean, there's sold-out arenas. I'm getting excited. And let's lead into our baseball program. As a conductor, Coach Van Horn headed into another great season of baseball. And then, hey, we started off the new year right. 2 years of just heartbreak in our football program. But I think Hunter Yurchek went out and got us a coaching staff to get the job done. And so, thank you for taking my call. Happy New Year to all. I stand aboard the whole team because of basketball or baseball. Just, hey, could it be any better? Thank you for taking my call.
You appreciate that, Eddie. Thank you so much. It could be a little bit better. Basketball could be in the NCAA tournament. We're making a run to the Sweet 16 or maybe even farther than that.
Undefeated. I know that Muss always brings that back. Phil, how about that graphic that ESPN showed on Saturday? The graphic, for those who haven't seen it, the best win percentage of active head coaches in college basketball, minimum 4 seasons. There's 5 on there. Mark Few, Roy Williams, John Calipari, Mike Krzyzewski, and your own Eric Musselman. He's at 3rd on the list behind Williams and Few. That's a pretty good list to be associated with, man.
And he's the new guy, as far as that list is concerned. I mean, Calipari and Krzyzewski have been around forever. So has Roy Williams. I think Mark Few's been around forever, too.
Mm-hmm.
So Muss, 78% of his games have come up with a victory, most of them with Nevada, and now 12 out of 13 at the University of Arkansas. We've got some sound from Eric Musselman reacting to the victory on Saturday, so let's get to some of this stuff here. We talked, Ty, about this 5-guard lineup, which it felt like the Razorbacks were forced into when Adriel Bailey picked up that 4th foul. You remember that was the thing I brought up on Friday. I was interested to see what would happen when one of the starters ends up in foul trouble, and it happens the next day when your best defender, your tallest player, had to sit for the final, 10, 11 minutes, picking up a 4th foul. He never saw the court again. And Eric Musselman talked about this 5-guard lineup with Jalen Harris coming off the bench to replace Bailey.
when we went with the 5 guards, it was a little risky. Naturally, as a coach, you think about when you have 5 guards out there defensively and rebounding is what you're concerned with. The 5 guards was our best lineup defensively, and they were our best rebounding lineup. I didn't think we'd struggle to score, and we went through a scoring drought with those guys out there.
Phil, you mentioned it earlier. The tallest guy on the floor at the time was 6'4", 6'5", either Jimmy DeWitt or Mason Jones or Isaiah Joe, take your pick. And they're just getting after it defensively. I know there was 3 straight possessions where Arkansas managed to come up with the steal. Now, the offense wasn't as polished as Eric Musselman probably thought it was going to 5 guards, but they got after it. They were able to pull away and do that. Eric Musselman has touched on this before. Teams have to adjust to us. All you keep hearing about with Arkansas basketball, their size, can they rebound, can they get enough boards to stay in games? Well, the other side of that is, can teams handle their speed? Can teams handle their quickness on both the defensive and offensive end? So far at 12-1, I'd say that Eric Musselman's squad and going small has been winning out to this point, Phil.
Well, you wonder if you're going to see this any longer? Would this be a new normal for Arkansas? And I would question if that would be the new normal because Adriel Bailey has been so good defensively. You can't just take him off the court just because. Now, you can create some matchups by removing him and getting Jalen out there, but you still get the sense that this team is better, especially defensively, with Adriel Bailey on the court. Here's Eric Musselman on potentially plans to play 5 guards later on in the SEC season.
I don't know. That clip disappeared on me, Phil.
It disappeared on? Oh, that's all right. So maybe they're planning on doing this at some point again. But it's good to know that you have this in your back pocket, that you've been out there when push comes to shove in a fourth quarter where it is a potentially tight game. Your best defender's not on the court, and they still end up finding a way to win. So, hey, good teams have to win in different ways. It can't be the same equation game in and game out. If you're able to do it in many different ways, and Arkansas did it in a much different way Saturday against the Aggies, that's a great thing to see. 877-377-6963 is the number to get with halftime on a call or a text. Kevin McPherson coming up in about an hour. We'll take your calls and texts. More after this break. Stick around.
Good coaches win. Great coaches cover. This is Halftime.
The best TV experience in the nation is available locally with personal service from WOW World of Wireless, your neighborhood professional Dish authorized retailer. Dish has the Hopper 3, the most advanced DVR, and delivers a premium viewing experience. Tired of running out of DVR space? With the Hopper 3, you can record up to 2,000 hours of your favorite programming and watch your very own favorite channels and DVR recording anywhere you go on your phone or tablet. Call now, WOW World of Wireless at 877-305-DISH. That's 877-305-3474 for more details. Or stop by our location at the corner of Phoenix and Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith, or visit us online at shopwownow.com. Get the Hopper 3 today by calling WOW World of Wireless at 877-305-DISH. That's 877-305-3474. Or online at shopwownow.com.
Monthly equipment fees and other restrictions apply. Recording hours vary. 2,000 hours based on SD programming. Remote viewing requires internet connection and compatible mobile device.
Kevin Hickey Law has a great team of people who are dedicated to your legal cares. Kevin Hickey's law team is made up of experienced, caring individuals centered around divorce, child, and custody, DHS matters, and more. Serving the Fort Smith area and Northwest Arkansas. Make the right decision. Call Kevin Hickey Law at 479-434-2414. And for Northwest Arkansas, 479-802-6560. Or the web at kevinhickeylaw.com, where our clients are our main priority from start to finish.
Your fence is more than a decoration. It's a reflection of its owner. Choosing a fence company should be done with integrity and quality in mind. The Fence Man has been providing fencing and security solutions for over 40 years. An in-house custom iron and gate department, plus an access control department. The Fence Man offers services other companies aren't equipped to do. The Fence Man, fencing and security solutions to protect what matters most. 479-782-3936 or online at thefencemancompany.com, a division of Quantum Property Services.
What's your family's security worth to you? Have you put off adding a security system to your home for another year? Or are you just waiting for someone to break in to be that final straw? Use your income tax return to add a security system to your home for as little as $495 and $15.95 a month. Guardtronic has a package to help secure your home. Call today for a free estimate, 479-785-2323, or visit the website, guardtronic.com. License EO50.
Are your real estate investments being properly managed? Are you sending a check or cashing a check each month? If you're tired of your current property managers, then call Trinity Multifamily. Trinity will qualify your tenants and leases, inspect your properties, and take care of maintenance and provide you with web-based access to current financial reports, leases, and pictures of your property. Call Trinity Multifamily at 479-452-1817 or online at trinitymultifamily.com. Trinity Multifamily, your teammate in the real estate game.
This is ESPN 95.3. You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Ty Richardson.
Sills for three. He got it with 2 seconds on the clock. He got it with 2 seconds on the clock. The three is good. The Hawks go up by 9. What a first half for Desi Sills.
It's a well-timed comeback for a well-timed text on our text line, 877-377-6963 to get with halftime today. Phil Elson here, Ty Richardson in studio. Chandler in Fayetteville texted in that his fiance, who doesn't even watch Arkansas basketball, thinks that Desi Sills is the best player on the team, and that's because that's the name she hears on television more than any other. So she's not even watching the game based upon just hearing Desi Sills from the announcers' mouths, that he's the best player. I've always been a fan of Desi from last year. I like there's a slipperiness about him. I think it's tough to keep track of him on the court. He defends well. I think for his size, he's awfully tough. A streaky three-point shooter, and that shot is starting to come around now. But I've always been a Desi fan, and I think he's getting a little bit stronger as this season continues.
Yeah, really turned on the three-point shot at the end of his freshman season. Hasn't necessarily found what people thought he would from distance this year, but he has looked better in these last couple of games than he did early on when he just couldn't throw in the ocean. But with him, he's very similar to Anton Beard, where he's a physical defender, pesky, as Eric Musselman has called him. He's an underrated driver, and like you said, slippery. That's an excellent adjective to describe when he was going to the rim. He had a fantastic move in the ball game where he did kind of a Euro step type things where he faked the pass, went outside, then inside, and had an easy layup. He just occasionally has that knack for getting into the rack. And Jalen Harris does as well, and then making plays out of that, finding an Isaiah Joe, finding a Cuddy Jimmy Witt for a mid-range jumper, finding Mason Jones. He has that. He just brings a toughness that Arkansas needs, especially playing small ball. You have to be physical down low and be like tenacious down low when you're going for rebounds against bigger guys than you.
Now, potentially the best thing that you saw Saturday was that Arkansas valued the basketball. Only 9 turnovers for a team that has struggled to take care of the basketball at times. Now, I mean, they force plenty of turnovers, but they also turn it over a lot themselves. So just 9 turnovers in that ball game. Arkansas averaging, 13 turnovers per game. So that's a nice step forward. Plus the 9 steals, and this team does defend really well when it comes to defending the paint, when it comes to stepping into the passing lanes. When you have as many steals as times you've turned the ball over, you've done something pretty special. So the points off turnovers were huge on Saturday. 17 Razorback points off of Aggie turnovers, and A&M only scored 7 points off of Arkansas turnovers. If you get that sort of math throughout the rest of the season, you're not going to lose many games. The other thing about this is, too, Texas A&M very well may be the worst team in the SEC.
Yeah.
So we have to. It's not like I'm saying take this victory with a grain of salt. It's a win. It's a double-digit win. It's a nice win at home. But this next week, I mean, this is going to be potentially the most difficult week of the regular season for Arkansas. When you see the quality of the opponents, both games on the road, there might not be another week like this until you get into the SEC tournament. At LSU, Wednesday, 8 o'clock, and then at Ole Miss, Saturday at 5 o'clock. It's going to be a tough week. I'd say if you win one of these games, you've done yourself very well.
LSU can fill it up from distance. They have guys that can space the floor all over the place. You look at Javonte Smart. You look at Skylar Mays. I mean, they have some dudes. I know that people don't like Will Wade. They think he's a cheating scumbag.
But he's a good coach.
Yeah. Luckily, Tremont Waters and Naz Reid are no longer with the team, so you don't have to deal with that. And God, speaking of slippery, Tremont Waters was one of the slipperiest point guards in SEC in quite some time, but this is going to be a tough ball game. And like Robbie said in segment number 1, Phil, you're going to find out a lot about this basketball team when they go to Baton Rouge on Wednesday and then when they go to Oxford. Luckily, I think a lot of LSU fans are going to be so focused on LSU football.
Well, they got something else going on?
Yeah, national championship.
Is it because baseball season starts in 5 weeks? That's why LSU is all fired up? Are they just peeved of the Saints' loss again in the playoffs?
That too, man.
Or is there another football game they're worried about?
Is there a fan base that's been more tormented the past 3 years? I mean, you look at New Orleans. 3 years ago, the Minneapolis Miracle, 2 years ago, you had the Minneapolis Miracle. 1 year ago, you have the blatant miss PI call against the Rams that they missed on that, and then this past year, the supposed Kyle Rudolph pass interference that I don't know if I don't pretend to be Tommy Kraft, an official, but I don't know if I would have thrown the flag in that situation. But it just seems like year after year, the Saints go through such a tough way to get knocked out of the playoffs, especially these past 3 years, man.
See, and I agree. You're right. And here's the thing I just couldn't stand about yesterday's game is I hate the NFL overtime rules. Hate it. I understand you say, look, if you don't like it, stop them or don't allow the touchdown. I just to not have both teams at least get the football once in overtime. I've never liked the NFL overtime rules. Mm-hmm. Not when it was sudden death. Not when they made the change to whatever it is now. It's been like 12 years that overtime is the current way that you watch it now. You got to find some other way to at least allow the other team's offense to touch it once. Anyway, there's something about me. I don't know what this is, but it's like I still remember the days of the Saints where their fans would wear paper bags over their heads at the Superdome because the Saints were the laughingstock of the NFL until 20 years ago. They barely ever made the playoffs. I mean, they were famous for Archie Manning, and he never got into the postseason. But yeah, I mean, tortured because of some really, really nail-biting losses when you think he got a shot to get to the Super Bowl. Oh, well. They could be like the Steelers, like my team. 4 players named to the All-Pro team and no playoffs. These things don't usually go together.
Yeah, that's a tough one to stomach. But I think these matchups and this will be a subject in a conversation we get into in hour number 2, which dynasty is more likely to fall and crumble between the Pats and Bama. Bama losing obviously to Auburn and LSU this year, and then you have the Pats going out against the Titans this weekend. I had a buddy who was actually a couple buddies that were just thrilled. A couple from Memphis, one from right outside of Chattanooga, and that was just fun. I think it's pretty entertaining. You'll have some good AFC divisional games as well as the NFC divisional games this weekend. I actually have a buddy that's going up to Lambeau. His parents and his family are diehard Green Bay Packers fans, so he's making the trip. He'll get to see, I think it's the Vikings and the Packers because the Vikings won.
No, it's Seattle.
Did I switch it? Okay, so
right.
He'll see Russell Wilson going to Green Bay. Yeah, that's right, because Russell was talking about that game yesterday because he said I had seen it. But yeah, I'm not a huge NFL fan. I'm a fantasy football fan. That's why I pay more attention. But once the playoffs kind of get locked and loaded, I'm pretty much watching from as soon as they start to as soon as they end, Phil.
You think there's another go around for Brady in New England? I think he's done in New England. I think Belichick is ready to move on, and I think
he was already moving on, and Brady got the better of him with Goff, with Garoppolo.
Right, it sounded like it, but I also, does it really come down to a decision made by Robert Kraft? Will Kraft supersede any decision that Belichick wants to make? But I'll tell you, it does feel like the end of the dynasty. Now, I'm not saying that New England doesn't win the AFC East again next year. I mean, how many years in a row have they won it now? It's really because they've been the only good team in the AFC for 2 decades, at least on a consistent basis. There's never been one real challenger. And in every other division, there's at least another team to step up and win some games. You never see that in the AFC East, nor do you ever see a quarterback that sticks around in the AFC East except for Brady. But it feels like that dynasty is over. And college dynasties can last longer because of the cycle of recruiting, which is something we didn't get into when we meant to a couple of weeks ago. But, I mean, Alabama's recruiting just continues to get better. They don't have Tua next year. But Mac Jones looked like he was all right. Maybe Tuali is ready to step in, too. And there's always somebody ready to step into Alabama at any position. That's why, for me, the college dynasty will last longer than the pro dynasty. And the fact that this New England dynasty has lasted as long as it has, 20 years in professional sports, that's like 50 years. These things never happen. None of those great Yankee teams lasted 20 years. None of those great Boston Celtics teams lasted 20 years. This dynasty, this is the greatest dynasty in the history of professional sports. It's pretty shocking to see what they've accomplished, but I think it's done.
Yeah, you mentioned the Celtics. Obviously, Russell was able to win 11, 13 championships. That's probably the only comparison that you could look at. And I mean, that obviously dwarfs it with what he was able to do. In later Boston teams, Bird was able to win three championships, went to 5. Magic was able to win 5 with the Los Angeles Lakers. I think he went to 9, if I remember that statistic correctly. But yeah, for them to be able to do what they've did and Brady have 6 Super Bowl rings, there's always going to be I think the question's been answered. He's the greatest quarterback over Joe Montana, but I think that if he could get one more, especially without Belichick, if he moved on, then the conversation is over. And it's just, there's regardless of how old you are, Phil, Tom Brady's the greatest quarterback of all time if he was able to capture another one without Bill.
And the only quarterback I can remember that captured a championship after leaving the team that he did most of his damage with was Peyton Manning. I can't think of anybody else. 877-377-6963. We are right back.
You're listening to Halftime.
Harry Robinson Buick GMC has over 200 pre-owned vehicles to choose from luxury to economy and everything in between, including over 50 great vehicles with payments under $250 a month, certain to fit your needs and your budget. And at Harry Robinson Buick GMC, you always get more for your trade. 50 vehicles with payments under $250 a month at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. Exit 11 off I-540 in Fort Smith.
Is your home at least 10 years old and served by OG&E? OG&E is offering Arkansas customers a free weatherization program to increase your comfort and lower your bills. A trained crew will perform an energy audit at no cost to you, and if your home qualifies, our crews will install measures that will save you money. The services provided through this program are absolutely free to qualifying homes. If you could benefit from free home weatherization improvements, call OG&E at 1-800-272-9741. That's 1-800-272-9741.
Did someone say, I'm hungry? Visit 906 Cocktail and Cigar Lounge on the Avenue. Try the new panini sandwiches like the Chicken Pyro or the Cubana or the signature 906 wings. Jumbo wings roasted with honey bacon jam. Want some spice? Try the black and blue wings. Experience their salads, flatbreads, coffees and desserts, top shelf wines and liquors, premium beers, world-class cigars, all in an atmosphere that feels less like a lounge and more like a destination. Sample, indulge, escape. 906 Cocktail and Cigar Lounge. Treat your appetite on the Avenue.
Elite Roofing is a locally owned roofing contractor. If you're building a new home or maybe need a new roof on your existing home, Elite Roofing can take care of you. Elite Roofing is known for their dependability and reliability. Just ask any of their satisfied customers. They are licensed and insured, and references are available upon request. If you need a roof, call your local roofing contractors. Elite Roofing, 478-8668. That's 478-8668. Elite Roofing, 478-8668.
Protection with possibilities. Have past losses made you cautious about taking on risk with your investments? Are you concerned that your savings are not generating the returns you need? If you are interested in protecting your money and capturing potential investment growth, contact Brad Lewis at United Financial Advisors at 242-7466 or ufadvisors.net to see whether market-linked CDs may be the right solution for you.
Securities and advisory service offered through Royal Alliance Associates, member FINRA, SIPC. United Financial Advisors is a marketing destination.
Locally owned Lumber Lumber One can handle all of your building needs. They've built their business on having great relationships with everybody from contractors and builders to the everyday build-it-yourself. Lumber One has a full-line door shop to handle all of your door, window, and trim needs. And along with lumber, roofing and drywall products, attic wall and floor insulation is available. Lumber One also does blueprint takeoff with access to design services with estimates available. So go where the pros go. Lumber One, located on Industrial Park Road in Van Buren.
Hi, this is Melissa with True Grit Running Company. Is someone special to you missing out on life because of foot pain? Let's face it, if your feet hurt, you don't want to go anywhere. Give the gift of freedom. Check out our store for all kinds of options to benefit your special someone. We have perfect gifts for those suffering from a variety of foot issues, such as plantar fasciitis, bunions, tendinitis, diabetes care, neuropathy, or just tired and achy feet. Visit us today at True Grit Running Company, 6808 Rogers Avenue, Suite B, behind Chick-fil-A.
Look your best with Perfecto Cleaners at the bottom of Fiena Hills. Count on same-day service, easy drive-through covered drop-off and pickup window, and fast turnaround on alterations. Perfecto Cleaners always goes the extra mile to ensure your clothes look their best, making you look your best. Be sure to clip their coupons in the yellow pages, and as always, in by 9 and out by 5 Monday through Friday. Perfecto Cleaners, just off Jenny Lind at the bottom of Fiena Hills. Perfecto Cleaners, making you look your best.
This is ESPN 95.3. You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Ty Richardson.
Breaks away from the pressure, gives to Thomas. Now to Doumbia, right wing. Skip pass for Tolfree. Long three-pointer. Good for Alexis Tolfree. Holy moly. Closer to half court than she was to the three-point line. 11 points for Tolfree, and Arkansas's 86-70 win at Auburn. Women's basketball team evens their SEC record at 1-1. And if you think Arkansas's men's team has a tough matchup this week on the road, taking on LSU, well, Arkansas's women's team plays number 4 South Carolina in Columbia Thursday. In fact, both the basketball teams have 2 road games. Arkansas, actually, the women just played their first road game of the week. They have the other one on Thursday. And Arkansas's men with a couple of road games this week. Let's get into some. You want to get in basketball or football here, Ty? You make an executive decision.
Let's do some of these coaching staff decisions. Real quick, did you get any eliminated over there by Toomer's Corner this week?
No, we did walk by Toomer's Corner when it was closed on our way to a restaurant that Mike Neighbors and me and the coaching staff ate at. That is called Halftime.
Bam.
How do you like that?
Got a text.
Is that a reason why we won? Because we ate at a restaurant named after our show?
I feel like it. I feel like that's going to have to be a destination that you guys go to. Does Auburn? I'm assuming Auburn's every other year. It's not one of the 3 rotating opponents for women's basketball, is it?
No, we don't play them again this year. But Arkansas baseball hosts Auburn, so I won't be back on the Plains until next year. Probably be there twice next season. So I'll have some extra lemonade that I'll bring back just for you, but it's going to have to be next year.
By the way, JT texted, I remember this tweet when he tweeted at me, you jinxed Alexis Tolfree on Sunday, Phil.
Was it Alexis? I don't remember who it was. If it was Alexis or if it was, it must have been Lex because she missed the only free throw of the game for Arkansas. And it comes a couple of seconds after I'd said Arkansas, I don't remember if they were 6 of 6 or 7 for 7. But I'd mentioned that they hadn't missed a free throw. She missed the next free throw, and it's not on me. It's not on me. Just like it wasn't on me when I said at halftime that Unique Thompson, the outstanding power forward and center for Auburn, was held to 6 points in the first half. She had this is very impressive. Thompson had a streak of double-doubles going back to last year. She led the nation with 12 double-doubles this season and finished last year with 1 as well. So she had 13 consecutive games with a double-double. And then last night happened, and she did not get to 10 points. She had 11 rebounds in the first half, but finished with 6 points. So did I jinx them when I mentioned that at halftime too? I don't think I did. So there, you can believe what you want to believe about jinxes, and I will believe the truth about jinxes that they do not exist.
Yeah.
There are existing coaches now at Arkansas football that we didn't know about when we were on the air on Friday. Now, not all of these have been confirmed by a press release by the university, but
I don't know if any of them have, to be honest.
Yeah,
man.
that's what I was going to say, too. I didn't think I'd seen anything about this, so I assume in the next couple of days there'll be some press releases coming out. So it looks like you've got your running backs coach, Jimmy Smith, who was a very successful high school coach, won some state titles at Cedar Grove High School. He'd been the running back coach at Georgia State in the Sun Belt this last year. So that apparently will be your new running backs coach. Jamil Walker is going to be the strength and conditioning coach. He was with Sam Pittman at Georgia. Scott Fountain as the special teams coach. So I think just having a special teams coach is a new thing now.
Mm-hmm.
And who else? You got your defensive line coach, and you're stealing away Kentucky's defensive line coach, Derek LeBlanc. And Kentucky had some good defensive lines over the past couple of years, so maybe an upgrade there.
It's wild because, like you said, none of these have really been press releases, but I know that Jimmy Smith has changed his Twitter. There's Arkansas all over it. Jamel Walker does not have a Twitter, the supposed new strength and conditioning coach.
How are you a college coach without having Twitter? I thought these things had to go together by law. Like, if you don't have a Twitter account, you can't be a college football coach. How does this work out?
Don't ask me. I would be kind of the same, but some people like Chuck, you would think Arkansas broadcaster would have Twitter. He has Facebook. He finally got Facebook in 2019, after however many years since Facebook has been established. But I mean, some people just it's not stubborn. I don't know if that's the correct word. They're just like, I'm not going to get one. And if you're good at your job without Twitter, then props to you, because it's not that big of a deal. But I think a lot of not only fans but national media, SEC media, their eyebrows are getting raised a little bit, because Phil and I don't pretend to know the in-depths of a college football coaching staff and how qualified Smith, Fountain, Walker, LeBlanc are. But it seems like, just from the attention that these hires have been getting, that he's putting together a decent staff. I don't like people, Phil, I don't know about you, that are like, man, what an amazing hire, that have read like a biography and stuff like that. That's just not us. We're not going to tell you. We can't tell you like all this in-depth information about these guys. But what I can tell you is, from the different local writers that have been with these coaches and the national media, they seem to like what Sam Pittman has established so far with this coaching staff. Now, it's one thing to do this in the offseason. It's a completely other thing to transform that said staff with the said players and win football games. Because Chad Morris's staff got a lot of offseason publicity with their recruiting. It didn't translate to on the field.
And they're tweeting.
Yeah, and they're tweeting. But you at least like the fact that you're getting some national attention and some local attention from these former beat writers, or not former, but they're beat writers and people that covered these coaches, that it looks like you're starting to pull something together a little bit.
So this should be it. This should be the staff coming up. Has it been a month for Sam Pittman since the hire? I think it's been a little less than a month, right? It wasn't December the 6th, but it was at or around that day. So let's say it's been a month, 3.5 to 4 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
You've put together a staff that's got what we all seem to think are home run hires for your coordinators, and you're keeping a very popular wide receivers coach in Justin Stepp, who's recruited very well. Brad Davis, offensive line, coming over with Odom from Mizzou. Ryan Rhodes, kind of an out-of-a-box hire, head coach, JUCO, now with the linebacker, Sam Carter, an analyst at Missouri. Now we're worrying about the cornerbacks. You've got Jimmy Smith, the Georgia State running backs coach, and a very successful high school coach as the running backs coach. Scott Fountain for special teams. Jamil Walker, strength and conditioning and culture. You're always going to put the culture of the team with the strength and conditioning, right? And Derek LeBlanc for your defensive line. So, I mean, just having a special teams coach is a nice thing. It's been a few years since Arkansas had a special teams coach, and that seemed to be reflected in the play of the special teams, specifically the coverage teams, and your punting wasn't very good.
Old John L. Smith is really the last time your special teams has been off the wall pretty good. By the way, you got a random off-the-wall text here, Phil. This is from Ross in Paris, reminding you that Texas sucks, horns down. So remember, throughout the show, doesn't matter, there's no time limit on this. Anytime you want to text into Phil that horns suck, horns down, feel free to, because we're trying to get Phil by the end of 2020 to be okay with putting horns down in any situation whatsoever. That's my goal in 2020 is to do that.
See, I'm looking at the schedule that I'm covering here for Arkansas women's basketball and baseball, and I just don't see Texas on the schedule. So I'm just not going to worry about Texas very much. I don't have to worry about Texas very much. They're not stuck in my head. I care more about LSU. I care more about Ole Miss. I care more about Mississippi State than that burnt orange school in Austin that you don't play at all. But that's all right. We can still do the horns down at the same time and enjoy the idea that Texas most definitely is not back.
Yeah, and they still suck. So that's always the best phrase that I've ever heard Clay Henry utter is, I love when Texas football, Texas basketball, and Texas baseball sucks. So it's a good phrase, Phil.
So your coaching staff is figured out. You've got a little less than a month to figure out the rest of the recruits, and you've got late signing day coming up in, 4 Wednesdays? So just look at where Arkansas is right now compared to Mississippi State as they're looking for a new head coach after the firing of Joe Moorhead. You're going to have to put together a completely new coaching staff. Mm-hmm. And we've seen some names thrown out there as potential successors for Moorhead. Did I really see Butch Davis's name thrown? Not Butch Davis, Butch Jones's name thrown out. I always get the two of them mixed up.
It was a fake account that did that because people were, and I initially was like, no way, and then I clicked on it, and some guy copied their beat writer's name, Twitter bio, and everything, and it exploded obviously because everyone just assumed it was him. So you always got to double click and double check when you see a coaching hire or something, just because people want to be funny and do stuff like that, but. A name that's kind of surfaced with a couple different people, both football schools, Bruce Feldman, a couple others, is Joe Judge, who I'd never heard of, but is a Mississippi State alum and is the New England Patriots special teams coordinator and wide receivers coach. And I couldn't tell you one thing about him outside of that he's a Mississippi State alum.
You know what I've heard, what I've read about Judge, and it sticks out because it's the same thing that you heard about Sam Pittman. He really wants the job. You know, I mean, you look at Mississippi State. And the thought is that the expectations in Starkville are now much higher than they were before the Dan Mullen era. And you never, ever had success at Mississippi State like you did when Mullen was there. That doesn't mean that that's the level of success that Mississippi State should be enjoying year in, year out. You just fired a coach that took you to a bowl game 2 years in a row. And does the next coach want to be under that sort of pressure? Unless you go to somebody who is a former Bulldog and desperately wants the job. Judge might be that guy.
I think that's a very solid point for you. Sometimes it's not about necessarily the qualifications. This doesn't apply for every case, but how bad you want it, how bad you want to bring success, and coming home sometimes that's a big part of the equation, Phil.
I really badly want a second hour of halftime, so we're going to bring it to you after the break. 877-377-6963. Your calls and texts up till 2 o'clock.
We've invented a new messaging system using the crisp sounds of Bud Light. Crisp Code, Football Edition. This is how you say, game tonight. Bring Bud Light. Fantasy fees are due. That's it for today.
Brewed with no corn syrup. Bud Light, crisp. Enjoy responsibly. Bud Light Beer, Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri.
Attention Arkansas Valley Electric Cooperative members. Do you need a better internet provider? One who treats you like a member and not a number? Then check out our new fiber internet services from Wave Rural Connect. We are bringing state-of-the-art, high-speed fiber, internet, TV, and phone services right into your home. If you are an Arkansas Valley Electric Cooperative member, go to waveruralconnect.com to sign up. That's waveruralconnect.com or call 1-833-4WAVE-RC. Arkansas Valley Electric Cooperative and Wave Rural Connect, changing the communities we serve.
World-class trout fishing is the star of the show at Gaston's White River Resort, where a few days away from all the worries and stress will make all right in your world. Gaston's has friendly, experienced guides to help you land your limit. Enjoy your stay at Gaston's in one of their private cottages or reserve a lodge for up to 20 people. Call now and let Gaston's help you plan your next getaway on the White River. 870-431-5202. That's 870-431-5202. Or learn more at Gastons.com. Gaston's, a first-class time every time.
Well, the new year is in full swing and it's business as usual. but it doesn't have to be. If you're stuck with an old phone system or an old slow internet connection, chances are the technology curve has passed you by. Why not let Pinnacle Telecom help you get back up to speed? With lightning-fast fiber internet connections and IP phone systems, Pinnacle Telecom can ensure you're not left behind. Get 4 new IP phones for as little as $99 per month. Check us out at pinnacletelecom.com. Pinnacle Telecom, tomorrow's technology today.
Joe's Grill and Cantina is the only place to watch the Hogs. Watch every game at Joe's. Enjoy half-price apps and taps during the game. And with TVs all around the restaurant, you'll have a front row seat. Half-price appetizers like brisket nachos, Mexican pizza, 10-layer dip, or Joe's humongous sampler platter. All half price. And all beers on tap are half price. Watch every Hog game at Joe's. Half-price apps and taps during every Hog game at Joe's Grill and Cantina. 3400 South 74th Street across from Harps.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
Our weather overnight, clear and chilly with our lows 30 to 35 in the north and upper 30s south. Partly sunny Monday, our highs in the mid to upper 50s, and then some clouds coming in on Monday night. Tuesday, a little bit cooler, highs in the low to mid 50s. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
Hertz Car Sales. Make the short drive to 2810 Midland Boulevard. Call them today at 783-1722 or check them out online at buyfromhertz.com.
Radio station.
KERX, Paris Fort Smith, from the Bush and Bushlight Studios. This is ESPN 95.3.
Hey, Coach Pittman, you got something to say?
Yeah, I do.
Go Hogs!
Yes,
sir!
Broadcasting live from the Bud Light Studio.
I love Arkansas! I love everything here! Give me that thing here! Woo!
On your favorite Arkansas sports talk station.
Why did that happen in Fayetteville, Arkansas?
Dixon Street. It'll get you.
Streaming live from
Hit that line.
.com.
You want answers! I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
This is Halftime with Phil Elson and Ty Richardson.
Phil, you're one of the best baseball announcers in the country, and Ty, you're one of the best up-and-coming young talents in the broadcasting industry. You really do your homework.
It is my pleasure to offer you the opportunity to be the head football coach at the University of Arkansas.
That's awesome. Thank you so much. Woo Pig Suey.
Hey, hold on. It's almost halftime.
I got to take some of our listeners on the road with me for some basketball games when I don't know how to pronounce somebody's name properly and can't find their pronunciation in the media notes or on the team website. Because I got a couple of texts. Adam from Wynn, another from the 870, an unnamed text, letting me know that the correct pronunciation of Arkansas's probable new defensive line coach is not Derek LeBlanc. Derek LeBlanc. Very good. So it's a silent C. I appreciate everybody dropping the knowledge and the information on me. 877-377-6963 if you have any other pronunciations that we need any help with, or if there's any other topics you'd like to get to involving Arkansas basketball, football, or baseball, we will oblige by reading your text on the air, save for any swear words, and we might even be a little snarky at you when you let us know what you want to talk about.
So, Phil, before a women's basketball game or before a men's baseball game, do you talk to the opposing team's SID when you need help with a name pronunciation or something like that? Because I know
I will, sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, and usually they've got the pronunciation guide in the notes. So, interestingly enough, though, there wasn't a pronunciation in the Auburn notes for the women's basketball game, and they had a girl whose last name is a hyphenated name, Robinson Nuwagu, with 2 W's in it. I mean, if there's any name that needed a pronunciation guide, it would be that one. So I had to guess, and I did, and I think I guessed correctly. I think she was only on the court for 13 minutes. So honestly, like, who cares, right?
Yeah, I don't think it's that. It's difficult sometimes because, like, I feel like your name's pretty easy. Like, you just see it's like this Phil Elson. My name's pretty easy. It's like it's Ty Richardson. I know some people get frustrated when you mispronounce a name, and that's why, like, I know in your line of work you try and not do that. You try and if there's a name that you just look at and you're like, I don't know how to say that, you try and do that. But people just get so frustrated and irritated and agitated when their name is mispronounced. It's not a spite thing. It's not us trying to be disrespectful. It's just sometimes, like, we butcher a name. Like, it could be because it's not an easy name to pronounce, and it's not an easy name to just look at and say so and so. So,
can I tell you that, like, the most year in, year out, the most difficult team to pronounce when I was covering UALR women's basketball was the Florida International women's basketball team, because those players either came from Miami, which is the city that FIU is located in, or they were from Eastern Europe.
Oh, wow.
The Eastern European names are awfully difficult to pronounce correctly and then remember how to say it the next time. I want to go to their roster right now and see if there's any. Yeah, I mean, look here. There's a girl whose name is Fukija Nemo. You got a last name Guimares, a first name Ieva with an Spigule for her last name. She's from Latvia. So I'm just thankful that these days I don't have to watch any Florida International women's basketball, because at that point I would just give up and call them all Smith.
Adam from Wynn brings up a good point. For those who don't know, Dickie Vitale, Dickie V, has been announced as one of the broadcasters for the Arkansas-Kentucky game next Saturday.
Wow.
He's going to be paired alongside Bob with Susan. And Adam thinks that Dickie V is probably going to mispronounce someone's name, and I would say that's probably why. He, at one point, thought Arkansas was in the ACC. I know some Arkansas fans don't like him based on the fact that he went after Moses Keensley in that SEC championship game where there was a hard foul. Moses got that flagrant one, and he tore into him, which irritated a lot of fans. And he just has this love fest for Kentucky basketball. You hope that Arkansas gives him something to lavish over and that he's giving Arkansas some love. But we'll see next Saturday, depending on the game. I will be in attendance, so I won't be listening to this broadcast, but I'm sure we'll see the reactions on Twitter, Phil, on his performance.
I think he loves sold-out crowds, so you're going to have that against Kentucky. I'm sure he likes to be lavished with love and praise, so maybe drop a little bit of that on him, and he might have some nice things to say about Arkansas basketball if, and only if, they are playing well against Kentucky that day.
I think we should get him on Friday's show. I'm going to see if I can work some magic, see if we get him on.
We're all part of the same family, man.
Yeah.
We're all with ESPN, right? So it should be written in his contract. He's got to go on. He's got to.
I'm wondering, for those who might know, and I know this might be difficult to come by, but someone was saying the last time he was in Bud Walton Arena was 95 against LSU.
No kidding.
That seems like quite some time for a broadcaster, but, I mean, you look at what Arkansas basketball has been since Nolan Richardson departed. It hasn't been the same caliber of program, so obviously ESPN's not going to send one of their primetime guys to Fayetteville unless it's a high-caliber game, which this Kentucky game is. And another thing I was looking at, Phil, College Game Day has not announced their site location, a press release or anything like that. People are assuming it's going to be Kentucky, Louisville. But if Arkansas was able to win these two games this week, beat Vandy that Wednesday, and they'll probably announce it this Saturday, or this Sunday, so they probably need to just beat Ole Miss and LSU this week. I mean, that's the only other game that College Game Day would come to next Saturday, and for the first College Game Day basketball of the season. But I just think they're going to end up, unfortunately, in Durham, North Carolina, to see Duke and Louisville, which is kind of a bummer because that would blow the doors off of a building that would already be raucous if College Game Day ended up coming to town.
Well, Duke is number 2 in the AP poll. Louisville's number 13. Kentucky right now is 14th in the nation, and Arkansas still unranked. I know it doesn't work this way, but Arkansas got 38 votes, which would put them 28th if you were to expand the top 25 to like a top 40, what collegiate baseball does. But I know it doesn't work that way. Still, they're getting a few more votes than they did the week before, and it just seems, as far as the voters concerned, they're just they need more convincing. I think they need to see Arkansas beat a really good team on the road again. You know, the win at Indiana wasn't enough. I don't remember who the Hoosiers. I think they just got crushed by Maryland, right?
Correct. They got waxed.
So I mean, not to say Indiana's not a good team. I think they are, but they're not. They're not. I don't even know if they're LSU, to be quite honest. So a win against LSU on Wednesday will go a long way to convincing some voters to put them in there. But as far as some of the other polls are concerned, those that go with the computers seem to be, leaning towards Arkansas. Whatever the equations are, Arkansas is doing the right thing to be ranked in the net ratings, where they're number 24. RPI has the Razorbacks highest of any of the other rankings at number 11. Ken Palm, they're 36. Sagarin ratings, 31. And, again, it would be 28th in the AP Top 25. So, and I know Justin in San Diego said it, Robbie in San Diego said it about an hour ago. And you know how I am about these polls. They just don't matter. The only poll that matters is the net poll ranking. So the team can make what they want out of not being voted in by the AP voters. They can take it and do what they want with it. So maybe the only way that this matters is for a team to feel slighted, as they've been slighted all season long by the SEC media, by the SEC coaches, and by the AP voters. And I think if you're Arkansas right now, don't get ranked. Don't be ranked by the voters, because they seem to be using – I mean, this is a team that feeds off of emotion, isn't it? They do that at home. We've seen them do it on the road where they quiet a big crowd. And I think they might be feeding a little bit off of feeling slighted by the SEC voters and maybe by the AP voters. So it's a good thing they're not ranked in the poll that doesn't matter.
So far, this team has been using the underdog role when it comes to the AP or some of the other polls or some of the other mentions that you're referring to. But, Phil, exactly what you just said. The only category, the only poll, the only thing that matters in terms of Arkansas's NCAA tournament hopes is that net ranking. Your net ranking is the only thing that you should care about as a Hog fan. Now, I'm very partial to KenPom. I think Ken Pomeroy does a fantastic job, as well as some of those other rankings that we just mentioned. But at the end of the day, you don't need to be as concerned with that. But a win on the road Wednesday night in Baton Rouge, Louisiana against LSU would be massive. And then, like you're saying, motivation's been a big issue for this team all year. Doubters, underdogs, 11th preseason pick in the SEC. You keep using, they're not going to rank us this week, boys. We're still not ranked. You know, that's plastered. He's talked about it. That's plastered all over the locker room, probably. Once again, you're not in the top 25. No one respects you. No one gives you any props for what you've done so far this season. Why don't you go into Baton Rouge and prove what kind of basketball team you are on Wednesday night? Then maybe you'll get some love. And then do the same thing in Oxford on Saturday. Prove to the country, prove to the college basketball world that you're worthy of being mentioned in the same breath of some of those blue blood teams. Motivation is a huge factor of this team in 2020, Phil.
877-377-6963. Calls and texts. We've got Kevin McPherson in 20 minutes, and we're taking up till 2 o'clock on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com.
Shooters shoot. You're listening to Halftime. This is the Morning Rush.
It's amazing the defense that Arkansas basketball is playing right now. I mean, I just don't see in any way they ever get blown out by any team in this conference. They're no longer going to go on the road and get blown out by 20, 25 points like you've seen previously. This defense and what Eric Musselman has been able to coach these guys to do is what's going to carry them into having a lot of success once SEC play really gets rolling.
Don't miss the Morning Rush. Weekdays from 6 till 9. Only on ESPN 95.3.
The best TV experience in the nation is available locally with personal service from WOW World of Wireless, your neighborhood professional Dish authorized retailer. Dish has the Hopper 3, the most advanced DVR, and delivers a premium viewing experience. Tired of running out of DVR space? With the Hopper 3, you can record up to 2,000 hours of your favorite programming and watch your very own favorite channels and DVR recording anywhere you go on your phone or tablet. Call now, WOW World of Wireless at 877-305-DISH. That's 877-305-3474 for more details. Or stop by our location at the corner of Phoenix and Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith, or visit us online at shopwownow.com. Get the Hopper 3 today by calling WOW World of Wireless at 877-305-DISH. That's 877-305-3474. Or online at shopwownow.com.
Monthly equipment fees and other restrictions apply. Recording hours vary. 2,000 hours based on SD programming. Remote viewing requires internet connection and compatible mobile device.
Head to toe, it's gotta be Gelco for hard work and the great outdoors.
With quality and price and comfort you like, and savings that you're looking for.
We've got the shoes and boots, steel toes too, outerwear and a whole lot more.
Head to toe, it's gotta be Gelco
for hard work and the great outdoors.
Being the family superhero is a tireless job, constantly defending against skinned knees and sibling supervillains that won't share. But who's there for them if you're not? your local Shelter Insurance agent. With an insurance superhero sidekick, you can find a life insurance plan that helps provide a safety net for your family. Find your insurance superhero at shelterinsurance.com. We're your shield. We're your shelter. Shelter Life Insurance Company, Columbia, Missouri.
Ask Shelter agents Brandon Zimmerman or Chris Dooley about a free insurance review.
2020 annual tickets are available at Ben Guerin Golf Course. 18-hole green fees as low as $11.66 per round on a regular unlimited plan. And seniors, juniors, and veterans can play as low as $10.58 per round on the same plan. 18-hole green fee with cart as low as $22.50 per round on an unlimited plan with cart. And seniors, juniors, and veterans can play as low as $20.83 on the same plan. Book your corporate and charitable outings now at Ben Guerin Golf Course.
And now, a page from the diary of Flo.
Dear Diary, there's something about protecting people's homes through Progressive that inspires me, because I just had an idea for a book. Well, it was originally an idea for a movie based on a play inspired by a podcast. But the idea is how you can save when you bundle home and auto. Might not be the best idea for a book.
Save an average of 17% on car insurance when you bundle home and auto through Progressive.
Maybe a radio commercial? Guess we'll never know.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Discounts not available in all states or situations.
This is Mark Hurst. How important is your smile? I recently read a study that said 61% of adults are attracted to someone by their smile alone. Another said that 48% of adults have untagged themselves from a photo on Facebook because of their smile. At Hurst Family Dental Care, we want you to be proud of your smile. Give us a call at 474-1972 and let us talk to you about improving your smile with cosmetic dentistry options ranging from in-office bleaching to braces to porcelain crowns and veneers. Hurst Family Dental Care, a name you know and a name you can trust.
This is ESPN 95.3. You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Ty Richardson.
The Arkansas Razorbacks win it by a final count of 80-62 to maintain their top ranking in the polls. A day for celebration in Fayetteville and through all of Arkansas.
Halftime brought to you by The Fenceman. If you own a business that needs more security or just needs more curb appeal, then give a call to The Fenceman, because they got a fence that can give you both. The Fenceman specializes in custom installations, and they've been doing it for over 40 years. If you call them, they'll come over for a quick, no-obligations quote. The number at The Fenceman, 479-782-3936. Ask for Henry. That's The Fenceman, a division of Quantum Property Services. Our number here at halftime is 877-377-6963 as we take your calls and your texts. Got a text from the 417 asking you about Dickie V. Is he ever not going to be on the TV screen? In fact, this listener had something else to say about Dickie V. I got to tell you what, Dickie V might not really be human. He might really be a vampire that's going to be on your TV screen for the rest of your life, just like Lee Corso.
And Raftery. Raftery's another one you can put in there.
Exactamundo. These are guys who never die. They just stay on TV forever, because they are the brand of ESPN. I mean, you think of college football, you think of Corso. I know you think of Herb Street too, but you think of Corso. By the way, Herb Street's going to be there until he's 200 years old, just like Corso and just like Dickie V. It's a status thing. It's a status thing. When Dick Vitale is calling your game, then it's one of the biggest games of the week. Whether you like him or not, this is an abject fact. ESPN assigns Dickie V to what they think is either one of the 2 or 3 biggest games of the entire week. So it's a good thing he'll be there.
No, absolutely.
A very good thing he'll be there.
And it seems like, based on the conversation that him and Eric Musselman have been having back and forth on Twitter, is that he's excited. And one of the things that Eric Musselman has done for your basketball program, it's not to diminish what Mike did or whatever, but he brings the connections that he has, not only in the NBA perspective, but he just his network, Phil, is unbelievable. And you cannot just box that in and say, oh, that's not big of a deal. He knows people. Well, the fact that he has that connection to Dickie V, and Dickie V is thrilled to be coming to the game, or he has the NBA connections that he can show, hey, this is what you need to do to get to the next level. Here's how I'm going to help you. The analytics that Clay Mosier and they brought in, just all this stuff encompassing with Eric Musselman, that is massive for your program to be built back into a national brand. Because at one point in time, Arkansas was what? One of the top 10 national brands in college basketball in the 80s and 90s, and then that went away by the wayside after Nolan left. But you're trying not only to be a powerhouse program back in the SEC, but you want to get back to the point where you can go to Cali, you can go wherever and go get kids to play Arkansas basketball because of how powerful that national brand can get back to. I don't know if he's going to do it, but at least he looks like he has the things in place, the connections in place, the network in place, where it would be easier for him to do it than, say, someone else who was in that exact situation, Phil.
Well, I mean, don't kids want to play in front of crowds of 19,000? Yeah. Isn't that one of the selling points to go to Kentucky? Because you've got a sold-out crowd every single game, and a big crowd at that. And you were at the game on Saturday, Ty. Mm-hmm. I was still with the women's basketball team as we traveled out to Auburn, so I only was able to see bits and pieces of the game as it happened live, listen to as much as I could. It sounded like a great atmosphere. Was it as good as advertised, a sold-out crowd at Bud Walton?
You know, the biggest conversation starter that came out of the game when it came to crowd noise was which crowd was better. And, of course, the Central Arkansas people were saying North Little Rock was better than Bud Walton. And I think I agree to certain points that were made that Arkansas's crowd on Saturday night was more reactionary to three. When they were on defense, it didn't get as loud as it has that I've heard in years past. But, I mean, it was still a really salty crowd. But that's not going to be the case next Saturday. Like you'll have to pry away tickets from Arkansas fans. You remember that story that Clay Henry told us about his mom getting a call from one of Nixon's assistants for the 69 game, and how that she was personally asked by Richard Nixon if she would be willing to give up her tickets for his presidential party. And she's like, no. Like, this is an incredible game. This game is century. She's like, I'm not doing it. And I think she also added, and plus I voted Democrat, which I thought was really funny. This, again, it's not going to be to that extreme where you have the 1 versus 2 teams coming into Bud Walton on Saturday night, but that crowd is going to be explosive, especially, Phil, if they can find a way to either split or, God forbid, win both these games this week. You'll have 20,000 plus in there on Saturday if they win both these games this week and beat Vanderbilt next Wednesday. But probably getting ahead of myself saying that, but that's the type of atmosphere that Arkansas fans get lured to. And I know that Eric Musselman mentioned in his post-game press conference, I had a buddy in from the Bay Area. He said that's the loudest crowd he's ever been to in a basketball arena. I'm not saying it's on the cusp because there was a really good crowd on Saturday, but he doesn't. I don't know if he'll be ready for the type of atmosphere that awaits him on Saturday afternoon if they can win a couple of these games before they meet the Wildcats in that arena.
According to the Razorback basketball webpage, there are 4 more games that are sold out. That starts with Kentucky, and then the following Saturday in the last non-con game, TCU on the 25th. Arkansas also is sold out for the Mississippi State game on Saturday, February 15th, and then on the February the 22nd against Missouri, also sold out. So, I mean, your chances, if you don't have tickets to go to one of these games, is dwindling down. I mean, you really don't have all that many games left. Should be what? Would it be like 7 or 8 home games remaining? I think we got 18 games left. I don't think half of them are home, so I think you got about maybe 7 or 8 home games left, and 4 of them are sold out.
The only thing I'm kind of bummed about the schedule, Phil, is that Auburn is either a Tuesday or Wednesday night game. I was a little disappointed seeing that because at this point Auburn is the best team in the SEC, and you've had some good success against the Tigers on the basketball court, and that has the potential. I say potential. It's really hard to sell out a midweek game, but maybe if Arkansas continues their success to this point, that you could. I get it. I think it's hard to sell out a midweek game, but maybe you could sell out that one too. Just really wish that game was on a Saturday because that would easily be sold out if it was a weekend game, Phil.
So Auburn took care of Mississippi State 80-76. Mm-hmm. Maybe the biggest game of the week wasn't even a game involving 2 SEC teams. How about Georgia getting the victory at 9th-ranked Memphis by 3 points? So, I mean, you don't have all that many non-conference games left outside of the Big 12 SEC Challenge, and anything you can do to get the SEC's conference RPI or conference net ranking or whatever it would be up. So that win for Georgia is absolutely gigantic. Ole Miss had a chance to do the same at Wichita State, but they got trounced by 20. I do think seeing LSU go to Tennessee and beat up on the Volunteers 78-64. Says a little bit. Tennessee they've been a bit banged up. Of course, they lost a lot of their stars from last year, good incoming class, but this is not the Tennessee of the last couple of years. The Volunteers are 8-5. Bama and Florida went to 2 overtimes. Florida wins that game 104-98. And Vanderbilt took a home loss against a pretty good SMU team in overtime, 92-81. Biggest win of the week, though, was Georgia's victory at Memphis. That's good for Arkansas. That's good for any other team in the SEC that very well could be a bubble team by the end of the regular season.
Again, you cheer for the SEC in basketball when they're playing non-conference opponents based on the fact that boosts your conference RPI, and you need all the help you can get being where the SEC is against the other Power 6 conferences right now. And you mentioned Tennessee. I was talking to Scotty Bordelon in the press conference after Saturday's game, and he reminded me that Lamonte Turner, their spectacular point guard / shooting guard, is out for the season and is probably done with basketball because of his shoulder. I can't remember if he's done with basketball, but his shoulder. You mentioned the players they lost: Schofield, Grant Williams, 2 of the best players in the SEC last year. So Rick Barnes trying to reload, but this is not the same Tennessee Volunteer squad that many thought would be before the season. And that was a game I think initially I had circled on the calendar for Arkansas as one of the bigger games at Bud Walton this year. They go to Knoxville and they come to Fayetteville, but it's seemingly like that's not going to be as big of a game as initially advertised before the season, Phil.
Right now, 5 SEC teams in the top 40 net ranking. Auburn, 6th in the country. Arkansas, 2nd best in the SEC, but 24th in the country. It's followed by LSU at 30, Georgia at 36, Kentucky at 37, Florida at 52. Got Ole Miss later on this week. They're at number 68. Tennessee's all the way down at number 80, and there's Texas A&M, 181 out of 350 in the net rankings. Thanks to JT in Hot Springs, he reminds us that there are 9 home games left, 8 SEC games and the TCU game, so 4 of those games are sold out, and I have a feeling there'll be a couple others that get sold out as well. Brad in Mountain Home asks, when was the last time there was a sellout for a football game? Wow, that's a good question, Brad. It's been a while. I mean, you got down to attendance levels that hadn't been seen since 2001 this last year.
Did you say 2011?
I don't know.
I don't know if they sold
I don't know the answer here.
I don't know if they sold out in 2015. That would be the only other year that would worry me if I was going as far back as 2011. But I would, if I had to put some money on it, and again, I don't know, but I would say 2011. But that just shows how quick the turnaround is and can be from football to basketball. Like, especially what you thought was, I mean, this team didn't go to the tournament last year, obviously, and now at this point in time, this is a tournament basketball team. It's like that.
And there's a buzz. Yeah. I mean, it's an incredible buzz. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, you went from fall where, and this was a topic we talked about all during the autumn. You know, your soccer team had a good season. Your track still won a national title in cross country. There were really good things going on in the hill, but football stunk. So that kind of was the attitude everybody had about it. Now in the winter and the spring, I mean, the teams that everybody really pays attention to, both basketball teams and baseball, this is going to be a good few months. I think you're going to be happy with what you see. We should be happy that Kevin McPherson is coming on to talk Razorback basketball after the break, so stay tuned as we talk with Mr. A.R. Hoop Scoop right after this.
The best midday show in the Natty State. You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Ty Richardson.
And now, a page from the diary of Flo.
Dear Diary, there's something about protecting people's homes through Progressive that inspires me, because I just had an idea for a book. Well, it was originally an idea for a movie based on a play inspired by a podcast. But the idea is how you can save when you bundle home and auto. Might not be the best idea for a book.
Save an average of 17% on car insurance when you bundle home and auto through Progressive.
Maybe a radio commercial? Guess we'll never know.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Discounts not available in all states or situations.
Joe's Grill and Cantina is the only place to watch the Hogs. Watch every game at Joe's. Enjoy half-price apps and taps during the game. And with TVs all around the restaurant, you'll have a front row seat. Half-price appetizers like brisket nachos, Mexican pizza, 10-layer dip, or Joe's humongous sampler platter. All half price. And all beers on tap are half price. Watch every Hog game at Joe's. Half-price apps and taps during every Hog game at Joe's Grill and Cantina, 3400 South 74th Street across from Harps.
Locally owned Lumber One can handle all of your building needs. They've built their business on having great relationships with everybody from contractors and builders to the everyday build-it-yourself. Lumber One is a full-line door shop to handle all of your door, window, and trim needs. And along with lumber, roofing and drywall products, attic wall and floor insulation is available. Lumber One also does blueprint takeoff with access to design services with estimates available. So go where the pros go. Lumber One, located on Industrial Park Road in Van Buren.
Is your home at least 10 years old and served by OG&E? OG&E is offering Arkansas customers a free weatherization program to increase your comfort and lower your bills. A trained crew will perform an energy audit at no cost to you, and if your home qualifies, our crews will install measures that will save you money. The services provided through this program are absolutely free to qualifying homes. If you could benefit from free home weatherization improvements, call OG&E at 1-800-272-9741. That's 1-800-272-9741.
Do you own apartment complexes, condos, and rental property? Then you have made a great investment. Now make another great decision by calling Trinity Multifamily to help you maximize your return. Trinity Multifamily offers full-service property management, marketing, leasing, sales, and all the services to make your cash flow. Take the hassles and frustrations out of ownership and call Trinity Multifamily at 479-452-1817 or online at trinitymultifamily.com. Trinity Multifamily, your teammate in the real estate game.
Elite Roofing is a locally owned roofing contractor. If you're building a new home or maybe need a new roof on your existing home, Elite Roofing can take care of you. Elite Roofing is known for their dependability and reliability. Just ask any of their satisfied customers. They are licensed and insured, and references are available upon request. If you need a roof, call your local roofing contractors. Elite Roofing, 478-8668. That's 478-8668. Elite Roofing, 478-8668.
This is ESPN 95.3.
Hey, City!
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Ty Richardson.
Joe from the top of the key just banked in a three-pointer. He banked it in from the top of the key. Hogs are up 22-19.
Hey, we'll take it, buddy. We will definitely take it.
It's been a while since we talked with Kevin McPherson, Mr. AR Hoop Scoop. You can follow him on Twitter at that very handle, AR Hoop Scoop. So it's officially basketball season. Kevin, how you doing, man?
Man, I'm up to my eyeballs in basketball, and what a feeling. I mean, a beautiful day. Just got back from the downtown tip-off club where Pat Bradley, everybody knows who that is, the shooter, was the featured speaker, and I'm going to go cover Little Rock Trojans basketball tonight, 5-0 in the Sun Belt, and off to a great start, and they've got a home game, so a lot of basketball going on, guys.
Man, it sounds, if you're up to your eyeballs in basketball, Kevin, it sounds like you need a third or fourth eye, but good. That's what you're around for, right? So
that's right. So I probably do need some help.
Well, we're here to help for at least the next 10 minutes. Arkansas basketball gets the victory against Texas A&M. Is this? Are we going to see more five-guard lineups, or do you think this was just sort of an answer to Adriel Bailey being in foul trouble?
Well, we've seen a little bit of it already because you're really only going 7 deep. Jalen Harris is playing heavy minutes. He's really the sixth man off that bench, and it's been a five-guard strength. The strength of this team has been that five-guard rotation all year, throwing Adriel Bailey really being the guy. But I think a lot was made of that. Obviously, it helped that Arkansas didn't have any drop-off when Bailey went to the bench for a little over 12 minutes, and they went five guards the rest of the way. But if you look at that, Arkansas was in the middle of that 6-minute scoring drought when they went five guards. So I don't know that the five-guard situation made them better. I think the big takeaway is they didn't get worse with a guy like Nebo on the floor that can really hurt you for A&M. But if you really look at the way that the script played out, it's been like the last few games. Valpo and North Little Rock, Indiana on the road. Game could go either way. It might look like the other team's going to make a run. Or in the case of Valpo and Indiana, they had late leads, 3-possession leads. And Arkansas just starts hitting shots and making key plays defensively, kind of in combination. And I think we saw that again, regardless of who was on the floor. But yeah, it was very interesting to see Arkansas go strictly five guards for 12 minutes.
And it's interesting the way you put about how they beat Indiana, beat Valpo. It was the same against Austin Peay in Northern Kentucky. And, tight win against Georgia Tech. The women's team with Mike Neighbors, he told me before the start of SEC play he didn't know what he had because they barely had maybe one or two games that came down to the fourth quarter or the last 5 minutes. With Eric Musselman's team, it's been like game in, game out. Seeing them win by 10 against Texas A&M felt like a blowout because they haven't had many games come down to 10 points. To me, that says it's a team that knows how to win. Those last 5 minutes make such a difference in what your season record is by the end of the year. This right now just looks like a team that's not just playing with confidence, not just buying into their coach, but there's something about them right now that they just know how to do what they need to do late in games to win.
Yeah, and I think that says a lot about Musselman knowing what buttons to push and when, getting guys to buy in and what their strengths and weaknesses are. And when you play a good brand of defense, and it's one of the top, Ken Palm's had it in the top 10 adjusted defense most of the season. They've been number one in three-point defense, top 20 in some other categories, scoring defense and some other things, turnover margin. But when I look at that, defense travels, right? So they've had 3 road games. They went 2-1, should have beat Western Kentucky, had a couple of possession lead there with about 30 seconds left. But defense travels, so even when the offense isn't where you want it to be, as long as that defense is playing like Arkansas's had, I think they're going to, especially with the SEC being just a little bit down this year relative to the past 2 years, I think Arkansas is going to find themselves in a lot of games that they can, if Musselman and the players push those right buttons, can continue that winning formula.
Talking Arkansas basketball with Kevin McPherson here on Halftime. Kevin, you got a chance to catch up with both KK Robinson, an Arkansas commit, and Jackson Robinson, an Arkansas target. What do they have to say after the atmosphere against Texas A&M in that game?
No, they loved it. They were just amazed. That was amazing was the word that Jackson Robinson used. And, he's a shooter. I saw him in Fayetteville back in April make 9 3-pointers in a grassroots basketball game. Team Griffin that went on and won that prestigious Nike Peach game in July. They beat the Arkansas Woods Elite by nearly 30 points. Well, he had 33 in that game and hit 9 3-pointers. So he relates to guys like Isaiah Joe and Mason Jones. And he said Chris Crutchfield, Arkansas's associate head coach, who recruited him while he was at Oklahoma, Jackson's from Ada, Oklahoma, a top 35 national guy, said that he's been talking to him about the similarities in a guy like Isaiah Joe, and he saw it for himself. And when you're in an environment like that, big-time college basketball environment, SEC game, and you see Isaiah Joe finish the game the way he did and finish with 5 3-pointers, and you're a player that kind of identifies with that, it can't help but, maybe help seal a deal on a guy. It's his 3rd visit since August. Now, I'm not trying to insinuate that he's a for sure thing to Arkansas, but it's got to help their chances for the way that game played out and the position he plays.
So I know there's a couple recruits coming up for this Kentucky game in a little over a week and a half. I know that Jalen Williams, a local kid, Fort Smith Northside, is going to be there, and a few others. How many big-time recruits do you anticipate making an appearance for that game next Saturday, Kevin?
Yeah, so you know what? That's a good question. Some of this is going to come down to can they get some guys on official visits. A lot of guys are in the middle of their season. Sometimes they have weird schedules where they may be on the road too late on a Friday. We need to see how that plays out. I've got some feelers out to some other guys, and they're still working on it. But, yeah, they've got at least 3 guys coming in, Jalen Williams, Devontae Davis, who signed with Arkansas out of Jacksonville, and then Taryn Williams, a 2021 kid out of Mariana Lee, one of the top 3 players in the state in that 2021 class, a 6'5" wing. He's got offers from Auburn, TCU, Oklahoma State. Arkansas has had interest with both the previous staff and this one, so those guys will be there. You asked me about KK Robinson 2 minutes ago. He also had a great time. We know he's committed to Arkansas. We'll sign in the spring. And, guys, that 2020 class, that fantastic Arkansas 4, those guys, when one of them signed in Davis, the other 3 are going to sign in April, they move in. They'll be college freshmen at the end of May. Memorial Day weekend every year is the move-in day. Can you believe it? I mean, that's not that far away.
Goodness gracious. Goodness gracious. All right, look at this next week for Arkansas. LSU, Ole Miss on the road. Where's the best chance for a victory? And do you give Arkansas – you want to handicap Wednesday's game against LSU as far as chances to win what they got to do to beat the Tigers?
Oh, wow. Well, you know what? I still think there are plenty of unknowns here. We know that Arkansas has gone on the road against 2 high major teams, Georgia Tech and Indiana. I don't know how good Indiana is. Georgia Tech is about what I expect under Josh Pastner. 2 big wins over North Carolina State and North Carolina, but they flopped against Ball State, Syracuse at home. Indiana last year looked good in the non-conferences like Arkansas did, and they kind of fell apart in Big Ten play. They just got waxed on the road against Maryland. So I really don't know about the quality of those 2 road wins. So I'm a little bit in the dark on this coming into this week. I think against LSU, we know they've recruited well under Will Wade, really well. I'll leave it at that. But their backcourt, Skylar Mays, Javonte Smart, those guys are, Arkansas's strength is backcourt, but they have a good backcourt at LSU. They've got good frontline players. I think, I think the edge and favorite should be LSU playing at home. But again, the way Arkansas finds ways to win games, I think they're going to have a good shot to win it. I'm not going to call it 50-50. I'll go ahead and say 60-40 advantage LSU.
I mean, really, LSU's got the one freshman, Watford, at 6'9". Otherwise, they're not the biggest team. They also play a pretty short rotation, just like Arkansas. I see some similarities between these 2 teams. I want to ask about Kyrie Walker, maybe for the last time. One of our texters just asked about it. This has been one of the questions we've been asking since October. I mean, has there been any update on Kyrie Walker? I still think at this point he's going to go overseas, but potentially there's some Razorback fans that think that maybe he's still thinking about Arkansas.
Yeah, I think all you have to do is pay attention to what's happened, which is absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
And if there was work to be done to reach the core requirements for high school and/or scoring on the ACT or SAT, he hasn't taken any visits. Second semester is gearing up everywhere. The spring semester, it's been so quiet. I mean, so you just kind of do the math. Just kind of looking at what really has happened. Nothing. So I think you're right. I think unless he decides and that he's going to work really hard to play college somewhere, and it may end up being next year, and treat this effectively as his senior year that he didn't play any high school basketball. I mean, there's that possibility. And, of course, G League and overseas, I mean, man, that's the biggest mystery. And as far as I'm concerned, you kind of move on from that as a fan. And if something turns around on it, great. But I wouldn't invest a lot of time wondering about Kyrie Walker to Arkansas.
All right, Kevin, then we'll stop wasting time with that as well. And we will stop wasting your time and let you get to the things you got to worry about the rest of the day with all this basketball up to your third eye. Kevin, always a pleasure talking hoops with you. We'll look forward to doing it again very soon.
Look forward to it, guys. Great to be with you.
You got it. Kevin McPherson, give him a follow at AR Hoop Scoop on the Twitter machine. And you can always follow him on Pig Trail Nation. Does some great stuff on Hogville.
Phil, I think that is the biggest question that he just answered that Arkansas fans have been asking. What about Kyrie Walker? What about Kyrie Walker? But it's kind of dwindled a little bit based on the team's performance. And I just don't know, based on what you hear about this kid, if you want to upset the chemistry that Arkansas seems to have with this core right now.
I think he makes a lot of sense with that. All right, so we got one more segment to come up. We got 3 up, 3 down in just a moment. If you've got anything up or down from the weekend, you can get in with us at 877-377-6963. The proverbial cherry on the top of halftime coming up right after this break.
The best midday show in the Natty State. You're listening to Halftime.
The new year is here, and Art's Barbecue and Burgers is ready with healthy choices on their menu. Art's Barbecue and Burgers has smoked chicken that will melt in your mouth, a variety of salads to choose from, plus a grilled chicken breast that's always a smart option. And use the Waiter app to have the full menu at Art's Barbecue and Burgers brought to your home or business. Art's Barbecue and Burgers, giving you healthy choices to start the new year off right. Art's Barbecue and Burgers, next to Aaron's on Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith.
Look your best with Perfecto Cleaners at the bottom of Fiena Hills. Count on same-day service, easy drive-through covered drop-off and pickup window, and fast turnaround on alterations. Perfecto Cleaners always goes the extra mile to ensure your clothes look their best, making you look your best. Be sure to clip their coupons in the yellow pages, and as always, in by 9 and out by 5 Monday through Friday. Perfecto Cleaners, just off Jenny Lind at the bottom of Fiena Hills. Perfecto Cleaners, making you look your best.
Tri-Hill Turf offers the highest quality turf and pest services. Hey, you say those are big words. Well, let's see. Tri-Hill Turf and Pest has a company agronomist, state and nationally certified technicians, free soil testing, and they even have precision GPS guided application equipment. Now that's high tech. For over 30 years, Tri-Hill Turf and Pest has used the latest application technology, and they strive for turf and pest excellence. They are your local turf and pest experts. Call the local team at 782-0404. Tri-Hill Turf and Pest.
Hey, so are you the type of guy that wants to look put together, but doesn't want to spend hours at the mall finding new clothes?
so you can look great at the office, on the road, or even just on the weekend with friends and family? I hear you. This is why there's Stitch Fix, your personal styling service that delivers hand-picked clothes right to you. Stitch Fix is simple. Sign up in just a few minutes. Tell them about the brands that work for you, and even let them know what types of styles you prefer. Stitch Fix is convenient. You get great clothes delivered right to you, so you can try new styles on in the comfort of your own home and make a decision without any pressure. And Stitch Fix is on your terms and priced to match your budget. There's no subscription required ever. Keep what you want and send back anything you don't. So, isn't it time you got it all together? Get started today at StitchFix.com. Stitch Fix, personal styling for men, women, and kids. Stitch Fix, personal styling for everybody.
World-class trout fishing is the star of the show at Gaston's White River Resort, where a few days away from all the worries and stress will make all right in your world. Gaston's has friendly, experienced guides to help you land your limit. Enjoy your stay at Gaston's in one of their private cottages or reserve a lodge for up to 20 people. Call now and let Gaston's help you plan your next getaway on the White River. 870-431-5202. That's 870-431-5202. Or learn more at Gastons.com. Gaston's, a first-class time every time. Tired of all the broken promises and broken equipment at your current gym? The Fort Smith Athletic Club is the nicest and most well-equipped fitness and tennis club in the area, with a state-of-the-art fitness center, Pilates, fitness classes, personal and group training, and the best tennis facilities in the region. 7 outdoor courts, 5 indoor courts, plus pickleball and racquetball courts, and free childcare is included. The Fort Smith Athletic Club. Call 452-4031 for membership information.
Well, the new year is in full swing and it's business as usual. But it doesn't have to be. If you're stuck with an old phone system or an old slow internet connection, chances are the technology curve has passed you by. Why not let Pinnacle Telecom help you get back up to speed? With lightning-fast fiber internet connections and IP phone systems, Pinnacle Telecom can ensure you're not left behind. Get 4 new IP phones for as little as $99 per month. Check us out at PinnacleTelecom.com. Pinnacle Telecom, tomorrow's technology today.
This is ESPN 95.3.
Hey, Surrey!
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Ty Richardson.
Hogs are going to win it. Hogs are going to win it and move to 11-1. Jones dribbles into the front court. The game clock expires, and Arkansas has come to Bloomington and come from behind and beaten the Indiana Hoosiers.
Closing out halftime with a cherry on the top. If you got an up or a down, you can get with us at 877-377-6963. And without any further ado, a Monday 3 up, 3 down.
Strike 3. Good morning, good afternoon, good night.
What does 3 up and 3 down mean to you, Airman?
End of an inning.
Strike 3.
So I'm not really sure where this one belongs, Ty. I put it on the up, but potentially, depending on how this guy is doing today, it could be on the down. So I've got a friend who's the Henderson State radio broadcaster. I worked with him for a season. His name's Cyrus Wittig. I think he's done some play-by-play on our Hot Springs station for the Hot Springs Trojans.
He's a youngin', isn't he? He's like
he's your age.
Yeah.
He's right at your age. In fact, he might exactly be 25 years old. But Cy finished dead last in his fantasy football league, so that meant he had to do a thing, right? These things happen. What did you have to do last year? Didn't you finish last in fantasy last year, not this season, but the year before?
Luck, but skin of my teeth, and a late Carson Wentz touchdown. I will not be having to do 10 minutes of stand-up comedy in front of my friends and other public in Dallas,
you
Texas.
Could do that on this very show.
No, but I public speaking's one thing. Trying to be funny, that's a completely separate thing. I had to dress up as Harley Quinn and go to Comic-Con,
right.
and it cost me like almost $200 for parking, the ticket, the costume, all that crap, and
all sorts of respect from people on social media.
Oh, the humiliation was pretty rough, and I have to keep it up on Instagram for the rest of my life. So if any of you want to go to Good Laugh, go to Ty Sports Radio on Instagram, and it's like the ninth picture down or so. It's just me in a Harley Quinn outfit.
Well, I've got one that's right down your alley,
okay,
Ty, because this is what Cy had to do. It's the Waffle House Challenge, okay?
We've talked about this, yeah.
anything that you put the words Waffle House in front of anything, and I'll line up for it. I love I used to get the scattered, smothered, covered. Now it's just the smothered, the covered, and the chunked. Anything else, I'm ready to eat at Waffle House. I still have never walked in, by the way, and asked for the big boy menu like you told me to do. But maybe when I'm heading back from Fayetteville Sunday after our game against Missouri, I might do that. But I'm not doing the Waffle House Challenge unless I have to. So here's the Waffle House Challenge. You have to spend 24 hours in a row in a Waffle House. But for every waffle you eat, your stay gets shortened by 1 hour. So you're not allowed to fall asleep. You got to keep downing coffee, and you got to keep downing waffles. So I followed Cy on his Twitter feed while he did this, and it's a pretty funny episode that he put himself through, which included bringing his laptop to the restaurant so he could have music ready to go. He didn't need to use the Waffle House jukebox, which has one of my favorite songs of all time, Raisin Toast. There are raisins in my toast. That's an all-time top 40 hit. He ate 11 waffles and stayed in the restaurant for 13 hours, and he's dead today. I think he's going to have a funeral tomorrow.
Ugh.
To me, again, does this belong in the up, or does this belong in the down, or is it somewhere in between?
It's somewhere in between. We had actually, in our league, talked about doing that exact thing because we had seen others do it. We ultimately decided that we're going to do the stand-up comedy. I think what's our challenge next year? I'm forgetting what our the loser has to do next year, but that's a good one. That is a good, wholesome. Oh, I know what it is. The loser has to get their CDL, the commercial driver's
license. That's why you asked me what a CDL was 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, because
I wondered what that was all about.
I didn't know what that was. So
if you're studying for a new career.
Yeah. So they have to do that. But the Waffle House Challenge that Cyrus had to go through, that's pretty great. That's enough for me, even though he's probably feeling down in the dumps today. He put in the down category.
Dumps would be the right word, my man. And I said for next year, maybe you got to do like a Sonic challenge where you got to order everything on the menu at Sonic and never leave your car until you eat everything.
So the group of guys that I'm not in the fantasy football league up here, but it's all my Fort Smith buddies. What they do is they have a different punishment associated with each person. It has to get sent to the board, and if they all agree on it, then you get to do it. Last year, my buddy Colton, he lost, so he had to buy every single person in the league food from whatever restaurant they wanted from. So he's spending like $100-something and having to go all over Fort Smith on these different places to get their food. And this, I can't remember what Pace has to do this year, but this is why you need to get into fantasy football, Phil, so you can be a part of a terrible punishment that's a
what are you talking about? I already will have a terrible punishment coming up in like a month when I have to eat the hottest food I've ever eaten in my life. Porter asked me about this. Porter, who listens to our show, and he covers women's basketball for Sports and Culture. He asked me about it. I said, look, I know it's a foregone conclusion. Like we didn't do enough bowl picks to actually make the standings change at all. So I've given in. I know I lost. And in sometime in the next month, I'm going to have to eat some disgustingly spicy foods, and hopefully I'll be able to go on the air the very next day. I'm probably going to need to drink like an udder's worth of milk to survive this.
Which I think 5 minutes is a good limitation on how you can't drink milk until like 5 minutes after.
Oh, gosh almighty.
We haven't really set the parameters on that yet.
My first down is NFL overtime rules. I hate them. I really do. I've never liked them from the jump. I've seen my team, my Steelers, win in NFL overtime and lose in NFL overtime, so it has nothing to do about my team. I don't see the fairness in not letting both teams have the football at least once and go from there. So I'm not saying this because I feel bad for you Saints fans or anything. I just like a little more equality between two teams that have fought each other tooth and nail for 60 minutes. Both teams deserve to get the football in overtime at least once. That's my first down.
I would agree. NFL overtime's stupid. We'll leave it at that. All right, first up for me, got a chance, and actually Charlie's texting in about it. Basketball tailgating is now a thing at the U of A. Charlie Lofton, who's a pastor at the Grove Church up over there at Fayetteville, Arkansas, he and his buddies got together and decided that they were going to tailgate for every Saturday Arkansas basketball game. Stopped by, said hi, met Ty also, who's friends with Porter at the Hog Talk, and just had a good old time. I'm planning on going to that January 18th Kentucky game, stopping by there. But I think basketball tailgate, I mean, this team's good. Hog fans are Hog fans, so obviously they'll tailgate pretty much anything like they like to do for football and basketball.
Need to get some table jumping, like Buffalo Bills fans.
Bills Mafia.
That's right. Need to get some Razorback Mafia going at these basketball tailgates.
See, I've watched one of my buddies. I've sent you this video before. This is back when he was young and dumb in college. He's still a dumb kid, but he was in college at the time. Jumped from one of my buddy's roofs onto a table. He missed the table, shattered his back, shattered his vertebrae. So that puts a bad taste in my mouth. Down for me, first one, coming from the basketball game as well. I know people really like Bobby Bones, Arkansas guy and stuff, but I thought he was absolutely terrible on the drums.
What would he do wrong on the drums? Did he miss the drum?
No, he just kept the same slow rhythm on that. With the drums, maybe it's because I'm an OKC Thunder fan, and that's what Rumble does before every game, but you speed up. Like what you start slow, and then you pick it up. He just kept the same rhythm the entire time. Me and John are sitting next to each other. We're like, when's he going to go faster? Like, the whole point is, like, like drum roll, like, you start slow and then it, like, speeds up to the point where it's like, he kept it the same boring, slow rhythm. And I was a little disappointed with one of the biggest radio guys from Arkansas, probably the biggest, actually, in the industry. So, hopefully, next time he comes down, he'll be better when it comes to the drums, Phil.
We had Bobby Bones on the pregame show for the first game in Omaha this last season. He was in there with me and Bubba for about 5 minutes, and Arkansas went on to lose that game against Florida State. But you know what? It wasn't Bobby Bones' fault because there's no such thing as a jinx. All right, second up. I went to see Uncut Gems on Friday night in Fayetteville. This is a fun movie. This is a really fun movie, and it's got a lot of basketball in it. Kevin Garnett's one of the stars. Takes place during I think it was the 2013 playoffs or 2012 playoffs. I forget exactly which year. But it really is an entertaining, fun movie to watch. Adam Sandler is terrific. I don't want to give away anything from the movie, any spoiler updates or anything like that, but it's a crazy roller coaster ride of a movie. And I'm not going to say Sandler deserves an Oscar, but I think he'll probably be one of the finalists for this. So, it's really a fun movie to watch. So I would give you a thumbs up on going to see Uncut Gems. That's my little movie review. Second down, winless teams in college basketball. There are 4 winless teams in men's and women's college basketball. On the women's side, there are 3. Hartford, Coppin State, and Chicago State have not tasted victory yet. And most recently, Mississippi Valley State is the only winless team in men's Division I basketball. They took their 13th loss over the weekend to UAPB, and it was the smallest margin of loss for the Delta Devils this year, 80-76. They've been getting blown out by 33 points a game. Mississippi Valley is last in the country in scoring margin, rebound margin, field goal percentage, and they've given up 100 points 5 times already this year. Yes, those teams are down.
Just got a text from Kevin McPherson. He tells me that the Dallas kid, Harrison Ingram, 6'7", shooting forward, is going to be in attendance also for the Kentucky game, so I wanted to share that. Second, I don't know if we're going to be able to get to our third. Second up for me, Phil, I ate 25 boneless wings yesterday, and I worked out this morning. I somehow, some way made it to Planet Fitness this morning. The down, did you hear I don't have time to play the clip. Did you hear the Bill Belichick question through thick and thin?
I heard that,
Why would you? Just a terrible question. Like, how did you? I know it's sometimes hard. You can't think everything through, but just a bad question. Terrible question.
There are other ways to answer, though, to ask that question. Third up, there is no third up, so that'll be my third down as well. I got a big up that we've got shows all week, so stick around with us tomorrow. For Ty, I'm Phil. Get up, get out, and get better.
Winter is actually a good time to paint that room you've been meaning to get to.